Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I just want to talk about how some people are so negative when it comes to velocity banking and they act like, oh my goodness, you shouldn't even ask for help at all. Especially, if you're in a jam and you have a line of credit available to use, should you not do what we talk about? I don't know, but sometimes it's people get so negative. In fact, if you do a filter on the word scam on this channel's comments, you see some interesting takes. So right here it says, I talked to my family and friends about velocity banking, and you are correct, my friend. They say, oh, it's a scam, but I'm going to do it, be successful. Thank you. Right? That's wow. Love the heart right here. This thank you. All right, this one is there's no reason to transfer a debt to another PLOC. Just pay the free cash flow into the original HELOC. It is because of velocity banking scammers or velocity scammers that people take out PLOCs and HELOCs and get into this kind of mess, right? And I don't think I've ever made a video where I said transfer your HELOC into a PLOC or anything like that. I mean, whatever. But I make so many videos that I don't remember what I talk about. But the thing is, I make the same videos over and over again. So I don't remember ever making one video where I say that, but whatever. This one right here, if you think velocity banking works, then you need to sue your math teacher. And it's like, oh, you could just feel the negativity. But here's the thing, I want you to put yourself in my shoes, right? And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that people will randomly send me their budgets asking me for help. Okay. Like, I don't tell them, please send me your spreadsheets because I'm a cult leader of velocity banking. People just do it out of because they need help, right? And I had one person make $5,474 of income and then $5,470 of expenses with $4.10 left over. And you take a look at all these debts. Where'd my cursor go? Take a look at all these debts. Upstart loan, Affirm loan, 1, 2, 3, Firestone credit card, student loan, Apple Pay, Macy's credit card, PayPal credit, Carrot credit, One Main Financial, Amazon Prime, Visa, Chase Inc., Aqua Windows, TSP loan, HVAC lease, auto loan, Home Depot, PLOC, TSP loan, mortgage, student loan too. You think that people got into this situation because they watched a velocity banking video? I'm going to tell you something. This person got a line of credit probably way before they even heard of velocity banking, right? Personal line of credit maxed out. And here's the thing, what are we talking about with lines of credit? We make it our main operating account, and we don't engage in something called segregation of income, right? Remember in school they taught you that segregation was bad? I remember when they taught us about MLK when I was like in elementary school, they were like, segregation bad, but they never taught it or talk to us about it when it comes to our income. And we can't engage in segregation of income, meaning our income comes in, paycheck is split into 20 different ways up the wazoo, and it's not as effective as if you just put it in one place to increase our cash flow. And that's what velocity banking is about. So let me ask you this. If you encounter a person who's emailing you, oh my goodness, 22 debts, and $4.10 left over, what are you going to say? Oh my goodness, don't ask for help with this thing or even look into velocity banking. It's a scam. Don't do it. Don't even ask for help and just, do that Dave Ramsey thing where you save $1,000. How are you going to save $1,000 with $4.10 left over? Right? Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to go over how we did a real life case study in this video because we actually had a live stream last Saturday. So if I take a look right here, there was a live stream we did called 22 Debt Elimination Real Life Velocity Banking Case Live Stream, which is about this video. And it's only for YouTube channel members, so it's 99 cents only, so 99 cents a month if you want to join. You get access to two things, these loyalty badges and, okay, these live streams, only exclusively for members. And we went over this for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Right? We went over this 1 hour and 30 minutes, and at the end of the live stream, someone wrote, "This is a masterpiece." Again, their words, not mine, right? And the funny thing is, well, I don't know if this is really funny or not, but at the end of the live stream, okay, at the end of the live stream, if we go and take a look, I actually got an email from this person who sent me the spreadsheet said, today's live stream was amazing. Again, their words, not mine, right? Because we went over the spreadsheet one by one about, a velocity banking simulation real life case study. And so I don't know about you. If someone asks you for help, would you just turn them away, say, hey, don't look into it, it's a scam? Because some people are that negative and they don't care. But I'm just showing you options. That's all I'm doing. I'm not telling you this is the best strategy ever. I'm just showing you options. And here's the thing. I like to do these velocity banking demos, and we'll just do another one similar to this over and over again, right? Another one. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now we have our beautiful velocity banking spreadsheet right here. So let's just go over quickly what velocity banking is. All it is a debt payoff strategy using your line of credit as your main operating account. And to do this, you only need two things. It's really simple. You need a budget and need a line of credit as your main operating account. That's all you need, budget and a line of credit. So what is a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you can borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. That's all a line of credit is. And if you have a personal line of credit, basically all that allows you to do is go to the bank's website, you click a button, bam, you can borrow money. It's in your checking account and they charge you interest, right? And the most important thing is we use it as our main operating account. Okay, so here we have a budget. We have our income, expenses, and leftover savings doing pretty good, about $900 a month. And then we have our expense breakdown. So we got two credit cards, two student loans, an auto loan, a mortgage, and then other general expenses. And the whole point of this is to manage our cash flow and to pay off debt, because velocity banking is a debt payoff strategy, and we're going to use the help of a line of credit to do that. Okay, so we assume two things. Number one, that we make the exact same income. And then number two, we have no savings. So this is the exact opposite of mainstream finance. And then if you were in that situation with 22 debts, I mean, how are you going to save $1,000 like Dave Ramsey tells you to do for baby step one? You can't do that, right? So let's go ahead and copy some of these figures, these expenses, copy and paste. And then we're going to, instead of savings, we're going to have something called cash flow, right? So all it is income minus expenses. But when we make our main operating account, this is going to increase automatically on day one. And we're going to assume we have access to a personal line of credit, $20,000 at 15%. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, like, who has a leftover line of credit laying around? And I'll tell you, I do, right? So this is a $15,000 personal line of credit that I have laying around. And I got a $50,000 home equity line of credit laying around. That's because I know the secret to getting credit, which is banks don't lend money to people who need it, right? Banks don't lend money to people who need it. Okay. And so a lot of times what happens is that you get into a situation where, oh my goodness, I'd love a line of credit, but by the time you get to that point, it's too late. And that's why I talk about building a good financial foundation before you even start tackling on debt. But so many people, they want to crash the car in a metaphorical sense and then learn how to drive with their finances, right? But we're going to learn how to drive first, and then we'll make sure that we never or reduce the likelihood of crashing the car by making our line of credit as our main operating account and making sure that we can get credit before we never need it, because again, banks don't lend money to people who need it, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's move these two credit cards into this line of credit. So as you can see here, the balances are about 18,000. Let's go ahead and move this 18,000 into that line of credit. And guess what happens to these first two payments? 0, 0. Oh my goodness, it's $940 of savings. We got rid of the savings and now we have $1,545 of cash flow. Now the actual velocity banking strategy is you put your entire $5,000 paycheck into this line of credit, which does two things. Number one, it satisfies that minimum monthly payment. Number two, it decreases the interest because the interest is based on the average daily balance, right? And when you put your whole paycheck in, that's going to be the lowest balance you ever get when you just dump all your money into that line of credit and take your expenses out. And so after every single month, the balance is going to go down about 1545, right? And so let's go ahead and do this, and then let's just do our quick calculations, which is calculating next month, which is next previous month plus one, which to get the next month's balance, previous month's balance plus previous interest, minus our cash flow number right here, 1545.7. Okay, and then now to calculate the interest, you just take this average function right here to get the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, which is 0.15, and then divide by 12 because you need that monthly interest because the interest is calculated monthly, right? And so if you take a look right here, you'll see that my personal line of credit has a 14.99% interest rate, which is same about 15, right? Same as 15. So let's go ahead and calculate this, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste all these formulas and take a look at this. The balance of the loan or the line of credit goes down to 0 at 13 months. 13 months. And so now we got to write in our little velocity banking tracker how long it takes us to pay off our debts. So 13 months to pay off 18K. Okay? And then now we have two student loans, an auto loan, and a mortgage. So you might be wondering, which one do I tackle first, right? Do I tackle on the student loan? Do I tackle the mortgage, auto loan, the mortgage? Well, an easy way to figure out which one to pay off is using something called a cash flow index. So we have this cool loan calculator right here where you could type in like the original balance, the interest rate, the term of the loan. It'll auto calculate the payment amount. Excel has these payment functions and also calculate the balance. So if 2 months have passed, then you can see, oh, the balance updated. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It takes into account all the amortization with the interest because of this future value function right here. Pretty cool, right? So we have this thing called the cash flow index, which is just a formula. Look it up on Google. That is like a ranking system, right? So the lower the number, that's the one you want to pay off first. Because think about this. Let's say you have $22,000 of debt. You pay it off because, I don't know, you won the lottery, but you get $430 of cash flow back for paying that $22,000 off. But, okay, but if you pay this $10,000, you only get $113 back. So which one gives you more bang for your buck? This 22,000 or this 10,000? Definitely this 22,000 because you get more payment for paying off that loan, which is why I want to focus on this one off first. Now, let's take a look at where we are. So we're at 13 months, this milestone here. And so let's take a look at all the current balances. And as you can see, these are the updated balances at 13 months. So we want to focus on this right here, the 17 grand for that auto loan with that lowest cash flow index. Now, we have two choices. We could move this entire 17 grand into that auto loan, or I'm sorry, not into the line of credit, or we just do it in chunks. Now, I'm going to tell you something. With lower interest rate loans, if you really want to pay the least amount of interest, you just do the chunking method, which is meant just take a small piece, kind of like similar to your paycheck, and then pay it off using your cash flow over and over again, right? So for example, let's say that with this 17 grand, I just take out 5,000 and move it to the line of credit. So it's going to be 12 grand right here. You're still making the payment as you're using the line of credit, but I'll just kind of quickly demonstrate here. You just move $5,000 here, and then you notice that in a couple of months that it gets paid off, and then you add another $5,000 here, right? 5000, and then it gets paid off in a couple months, and you rinse and repeat over and over again, and so it gets paid off. But you could also move the entire 17 grand into that line of credit. So I think it would be here. So it'd be like 17,819.08. So I'll just put 17 grand, make it easy, or 17,800, right? And then you can see here. So this will actually increase our cash flow by paying off that loan. And then our cash flow is now about $2,000, 1976.16. So let me just do this right here, 1976.16, right? And then you just copy and paste and see that it gets paid off a little bit less than 2 years. Okay, so either way is perfectly valid, but I'm going to just tell you that if you move your entire loan into the line of credit, you're going to pay a little bit more than just doing the chunking method, right? And here's a comment I want to make on loans. There's a reason why loans have lower interest rates than lines of credit, right? So a loan is a one-way access street to your money, and so there, if you have less access, they're going to charge you less money. It's kind of think of it as like a Netflix account that you can only access from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., but it's like the cheapest Netflix account. How much use are you going to get out of that Netflix account? You're not going to get that much use. So if you're in this situation where it's like, okay, why would I use a line of credit? Well, if you're, let me just copy this. If you are trying to pay off your loan and you put this 1545 extra into that loan and you need that money again, then that money's gone. You know what I'm saying? And so we want to prevent two things. We want to do two things. We want complete control over money, and we want to prevent that thing called segregation of income, which we all know is bad. They told you it was bad in school, but they didn't forget to tell you it was bad with your income when you were in school too, which is probably why everybody's broke. All right, so now let's go ahead and open up our velocity banking calculator, which will kind of be like a cheat sheet and do all of this for us. So give me 1 second to open it up. All right, so let me go ahead and switch this. And then as you can see here, I have this velocity banking calculator pretty much filled out. This was created by Renatus. So if you don't know what Renatus is, it's where I first originally learned velocity banking from. And full disclosure, I'm an independent contract marketer, meaning that I make commissions from selling their products, but But I love using this calculator because it helps me determine like debt payoff when it comes to amortized loans. So I just put in the information, 22 grand, original balance, current balance, interest rate. I do all that, and then I also type in, my expenses. So it's everything except for the loan I'm trying to pay off and my monthly income. And here's one thing I want to show, right? This is the most important thing. If you put in the entire loan, right? So let's say I put in 17819.08, we're going to pay a little bit more, even though the debt, the year I think to pay off it will be the same. So 635 if we do $5,000 chunks and then we hit enter, we pay 894, so we pay a couple $100 more. But this actually get paid off faster. That's interesting, right? So $5,000, 0.8, and we pay less interest. But if we move the whole thing into a line of credit, we actually pay a little bit more, right? And so you might say, well, why would you want to put the entire thing into a line of credit? It might be for convenience reasons. Same thing why you want to do balance transfer checks, because you actually pay, even with 0% balance transfers, you pay 3-4% of the amount that you're transferring, right? But there's a certain reason why some people do that, because of convenience reasons. I don't know if you ever heard the term that the best credit decision isn't the best financial decision, right? So something to take into account. But I would just use the chunking method, which means just take a part of the loan, move it into a line of credit. I always just have a rule of thumb: just move your salary around your salary into, or your income into that line of credit, and you should be good. So 0.8 years, that's how long it takes to pay it off, right? And let's write that down in our velocity banking spreadsheet. Wait a minute, am I in the wrong? Hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. Okay, so 0.8. So the way that we can calculate this, again, this gets paid off, right? So it's 13 months plus 0.8 times 12, because it's 0.8 years. And so that's 22.6 months to pay off 18 plus 22K. So that would be about 40K, right? And so now we just do the same thing over and over again. Student loan, auto loan. I'm sorry, we already did the auto loan. Now we essentially just do the mortgage, and actually, so it should be about 23 months, because uh, loan statements don't come out at 0.5 months, right? So we'll just say 23 months. And then we'll just do 23, 23, 23, 23. Okay. And we've essentially already paid this off. And now let's go ahead and tackle this one right here. Now you could move this 8 grand into that what's it called? The line of credit. It's not going to make that big of a difference, especially with these low balances. But here's the thing: we got to be careful with the amortized. I'm sorry, not the amortized. The 30-year mortgage, because of that high cash flow index. It's very deceptive, right? You might have heard on the internet, oh, put that 2% mortgage into a line of credit, and I will show you that this calculator says don't do that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying the calculator says you're going to pay more in interest if you do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and fill in these numbers right here. So let me switch to that velocity banking calculator. Give me one moment. All right, there we go. I think I pre-filled this out. 10 grand original balance, 8 grand in current balance, 6.5 interest rate, 10 years, 113, $5,000 and income, 2,900 expenses. Now here's the thing we just want to compare. If we move this $8,000 into that line of credit, how much more do we pay? So look at right here. If we just do this, we pay 0.3 years and $121 of interest. But let's put the whole thing in, 8549.68, and we see we pay $30 more. That's why I say, like, it depends on several factors of how much you're going to pay in interest. So if you feel like, oh, I just want to get rid of it and I don't mind paying extra $30, go for it, right? All right, so now it's 0.3 years. So let's go ahead and go to the other spreadsheet. And we're just going to go, where do we go? Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, there we go. All right, so now it's 0.3 years. And then how do we do this? It's 22, so 22.6 plus 0.3 times 12. And so that's 26.2 months. And that's going to be for 50K, right? Because we paid it. All right, so 26 months. So we'll just say at 27 months, we got to figure out what the student loan to and the mortgage is. So let me just go ahead and do that. So we don't really care about this one anymore, but 27 months. We'll just update these just to see the balances. All right, so 27 months, we have 12 grand left in that student loan. And again, when it comes to these 10, 20 grand loans, move to a line of credit, not going to be a big deal. But when we move that mortgage, oh, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, which is why we don't want to replace our mortgage to a line of credit in general. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the spreadsheet again. Look at the numbers. Give me one moment. All right, so I think we got this pretty much pre-filled out. So let's go ahead and do a comparison. So if I move this entire thing into the line of credit, this 4.5% loan into this line of credit, you'll see that it pays off in half a year, $347 of interest. But if we do the chunking method, 5,000, right? You'll save a little bit more in interest. Okay, but not big of a deal, but still half a year. So let's go back to our other spreadsheet and mark that down. So we're just going to go in here. Where'd it go? All right, so half a year. So this one is going to be 26.2 plus 6 months because that's half a year, right? So that's 32.6 months, and that'll be 65K. Okay. And then now we tackle on the most important thing, which is the mortgage, right? And then we got to figure out 33 months, what is the balance of that mortgage. So 33, 33, 33, 33. So you'll notice that if we just kept doing things like just paying off the loan, the monthly payment, which we could also consider the minimum payment, that even after 33 months, we still have these loans that we're paying off, right? But then here we are, we've tackled already all three of these. Now we need to tackle uh, this 189,000, and this is the most important thing when it comes to that 30-year mortgage. That if you do decide to replace it with a line of credit, you're going to pay so much more in interest usually. So let me pull out that Velocity Banking calculator. All right, so now I just kind of pre-filled it out. It's a $200,000 loan, 189 current balance, 4% interest rate, 30-year mortgage, $954 payment. Again, we got it when the interest rates were low. And a $5,000 chunk, right? So 5.6 years, look at how much interest we're not paying, but let's replace this whole thing with a line of credit, with a 9% line or 15% line of credit, 189,965. And again, we don't even have this much in limits of the line of credit. We have how much in the line of credit? We have $20,000 limit. There's no way. But let's assume that we had a $189,000 line of credit. Right now, take a look at this 24 grand. Okay, let's replace the whole thing with the 15% line of credit. Bam! We actually pay more in interest. See? So we have to be aware of these nuances, right? We actually, yeah, we paid in 9.3 years, but we're going to pay more in interest than how we just paid in 30 years and split the payments. Is that crazy? So we want to be careful of the advice that we hear and also do the math, right? So think about this. If I were the lender and you came up to me and you said, "Hey, I want to replace my mortgage with the line of credit," and I'm doing the numbers and seeing, "Oh my goodness, like you're going to actually pay me more interest in a shorter amount of time, $165,000 of interest, and I was originally expecting to get 122,000 over 30 years," do it. As long as I'm that line of credit. But if you do that $5,000 chunk, see that big difference that chunk makes, right? It's almost resistant to that interest rate in small chunks. So even if I have a 30%, a credit card, let's see what happens here. 30%, and how much does it go up? 5, 10 grand? 4 grand? What? Even with the 30% credit card? Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this, and this will be 5.6 years. Now let's go to our spreadsheet here and finish it off. So 5.6 years, blah, 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 right here. So this is equal to 32.6 times 12 plus 5, no, divided by 12 plus 5.6, and that is 8.32 years till 8.32 years, 265K debt free, right? So I don't know about you, but if I could pay off my debt in 8 years, including my mortgage, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be disappointed because I'm gonna humble brag. I paid off my mortgage under 3, right? So, but I'm sure for the average American and for all the people who are negative about velocity banking, oh my goodness, don't ever do this. And you're in a situation where like I only have $4 of savings left over. What do I do? Again, this is why you gotta avoid negative people and just explore your options. Sometimes people get angry at you for asking questions. You ever notice that? Like they just get angry. Oh my goodness, don't even look into it. Okay, well, all right. I think, if you want to learn how to drive a car, learn to drive it and don't just crash it, right? But people are like, don't even take driving lessons. Don't even know, like, never take a line of, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, all right. Well, that's it for today. So this is Crane Atlanta Mentorship. Again, some people are so negative, but hey, if you got that spreadsheet like I did, of $4 and change left over in savings a month, like, wouldn't you want to like figure out, can we use this velocity banking thing to help us, or would we just leave people in the dust? Sometimes I'm not an angel, right? I leave people in the dust when people send me their emails, but sometimes I think they ask stupid questions, but that's just me. And, maybe you'll like slap me like Will Smith did. Well, Will Smith didn't slap me for, because you might get offended. But, anyways, all right. So that's it for today. Have a great day, and we'll speak next time.